to look and feel good. It's not that we have to have the biggest muscles. It's not that, we have to be able to run 20 kilometers without stopping. It's that when I realize that the actions I take day in, day out are bringing me closer to who I want to be, who I visualize myself as being, if I could visualize my ideal self, that's what brings that feeling of joy, that feeling of success. And that's a funny thing, because failure doesn't matter. Success doesn't matter. It's just like at a certain point in time, by us just doing the work, we realize that we're actually closer to our goal than we thought. We're actually on the path to progression. We're becoming who we want to be. It's sort of like, if you think about learning, you know what I mean? And you're out there, and let's say you go to university and you're trying to learn economics. The first day in the class, it's so confusing because you don't know all the terminology. You don't know all the mathematical equations and things like that. But it's like, at a certain point in time, maybe one semester, maybe 2 semesters, maybe 3 semesters, you sort of start to realize, well, hey, I actually understand most of this. This actually isn't that difficult. I'm actually learning. And that realization is where that narrative shifts from I can't do this to I can do this. And it's like, an easy way for us to overcome those feelings of self-doubt in the earlier days is to think to all the different things we've achieved in life and done in life. You know what I mean? And then we use that past experience of, for example, take weight loss and working out. Everyone starts at a point of never have doing it before. So it's like, when we're lifting weights, there is always a period where we have never done it before, and then we start. And then it's like we go from starting to working every day and learning and understanding, about physiology, understanding biomechanics and things like that, and diet and exercise. And it's like, at a certain point, we start to realize, well, hey, this actually makes a lot of sense, and I really understand this. And it's through understanding that process consciously, when we look back on it, that we can see in anything in life that we're trying to do, it's this process of not really understanding, going out there feeling insecure but doing it anyway, and learning and trying to understand, and just doing. And then at a point, it sort of starts to click. And typically I put this at about 3 months, because it usually takes about 3 months for me to learn and understand new things. And I'm not saying I'm an expert after 3 months, but at around 3 months, I sort of understand it, and I grasp it a fair bit. And then it's like, from there, that's when we really push to that goal. That's when we push to really, if we're working out, that's where we start increasing the weights. That's where we start increasing the sets. That's where we start pushing our workout times longer and longer and longer. That's where we start increasing that intensity. You know what I mean? For example, in a weight loss journey, you might start only being able to walk 1 kilometer at a time, 1 kilometer a day. But after a couple of weeks of walking 1 kilometer a day, you push it up to 2 kilometers. Then you might realize, well, hey, 2 kilometers isn't that difficult. Let's go to 3 kilometers. And then you realize, hey, 3 kilometers isn't that difficult. And then we just keep pushing. And when we're able to take it from this feeling of I can't do it to I can and I am doing it, that's where we're able to then start to get excited about pushing. That's when we're able to sort of when we build up that stamina, we build up our muscles. Then we realize, well, I can actually push further than I thought I could. I can actually do more than I thought I could. If you've ever sort of trained or ran a marathon before, this is one thing that happens. Because when we think about a marathon, we're thinking about, depending on the size of the marathon, if it's a half marathon, 20, 30 Ks, if it's a full marathon, 40, 60 Ks, and it's like, if we're thinking about, I'm going to do 45K run, that's like, how could I ever run that? I've never ran that in my life. And then it's like, we start training for it. And maybe, we're training 1 year out from the marathon. And we start and we can run 5 kilometers. And maybe it takes us 3 or 4 weeks before we can run 6 kilometers. But then it's like, if I can run 6 kilometers, I can run 8 kilometers. If I can run 8 kilometers, I can run 10 kilometers. We're a quarter of the way there. And we just keep incrementally gaining it. And we develop strategies. And we develop processes and ways of, maximizing our output and conserving our energy. You know what I mean? So it's like in anything in life where you're feeling insecure about who you are, just find something in your life that you have done. And easy ones to do are sports, because we all learnt sports at a young age. If you ride a bike, like remember back to learning to ride a bike. Like the thing is, when I was a kid, and everyone was a kid, learning to ride a bike, if you actually remember back to it, like it was difficult to learn how to ride a bike without the training wheels. You fell again and again and again. But because there was no expectations that I should be good about this, because we didn't have our egos involved in it, it was sort of like we just keep pushing and we keep getting up and trying. And then at a certain point we can ride for 10 meters. And then we push it and we ride for 20 meters without falling. And then we push it, and then at a certain point we can just ride the bike. Like that's the key to self-confidence. Think back to all these different things you've achieved in your life, because everything in your life is an achievement. That's the thing. We all have achieved in our life. And it doesn't matter if it's a small achievement or if it's a large achievement. You know what I mean? Where you became the state champion of, let's say, football. Like, it doesn't have to be that large. If you've become state champion in football at a certain point in time, that's amazing. That's a really cool thing to look back on. But even if it's just something as simple as riding a bike, as learning how to read, as learning how to write, as learning how to spell, like, you got to think, like, these are all things. Like, everyone can speak to an extent, you know what I mean? But like, everyone learned how to read and write and speak. So it's like, if that's all you've got to fall back on to build confidence, that's enough. You know, if you want to use walking, if you want to use running, like, it doesn't matter. Just think about it. Like, in your own life, you know, David Goggins uses this example of the cookie jar, where he, in times where he's pushing himself further than he's ever pushed before, he thinks about all the different things that he's gone through, all the different challenges and obstacles that he's overcome. Take, for example, you know, maybe you've been through a really bad breakup and you felt so destroyed by the breakup and you didn't know who you were, and you just got up day in and day out and you kept moving forward in life. And maybe now you feel optimistic about love again. It's like, look at that achievement. That's an important thing. So Like, everyone has this cookie jar full of these amazing things that they have done. And just remember, it doesn't matter to other people. Like, it's all arbitrary. If you went through a bad breakup and you got yourself through that breakup, like, that is an accomplishment. It doesn't matter if other people see it as an accomplishment or not. Like, you did that. Do you understand? Like, you know, some people have been through toxic situations where they were manipulated, where they were misled, you know, where they were in a very toxic relationship. And one day they just had to get themselves out of there. And they got the courage and they just left. That's an achievement. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, just learning how to cook for yourself, learning how to take care of yourself, that's enough. That's enough of an achievement that you can feel proud about yourself. And it's through understanding these achievements that you're able to build that self-confidence that, hey, I actually am someone valuable. I am someone of worth. I can do what I say I'm going to do, and I can do what I want to do in life. And that's an important thing, because that's how we build ourselves to being able to run through life, to being able to push further in life, to being able to achieve more in our life. Jordan Peterson, I heard not a speech, but I heard a bit of him talking. And there's a quote, and it says, if you look too long into the abyss will look back into you. And he said, you know, if you look long enough into the abyss, you might see the light at the end. And I was thinking about this, and what I realized was, in life, you know, thinking about our mortality is like looking into the abyss. That one day, this life that we have will end. But if we face our mortality and we look at it every day, we see the optimism and the beauty in life that I can, you know, carpe diem. I can take charge of my life. I can be who I want to be in life. I can move forward in life how I want to live, and I can live the life I want to live. I can find love if that's something I want. I can find joy and happiness if that's something I want. I can help people if that is something that I want. I can achieve whatever I set my mind to in life if that is what I want. It's understanding that while, you know, it may feel insurmountable at the start, if we look into the abyss of, you know, I may suck right now, I don't really know too much about it, and we look at that challenge for long enough, we'll see the optimism that I can do it, that I can overcome this, that I can achieve what I want to achieve in life, that I can live the life I want to live. You know what I mean? I can become who I want to become in life. I can live happy, irrespective of anything else. I can live happy in life. And that's really important, because it's through doing this, through accepting our mortality and accepting that one day this will end. But it doesn't have to be a negative end. We can see it optimistically, that one day this will end. But that's what brings the beauty to life, is that, well, one, you know, everything I think of as being me is just electrical impulses happening in my brain. And if we understand science and energy never dies, it just dissipates. So death doesn't have to be me becoming disjointed and disconnected from the universe. I'm still a part of the universe when I die. So if I'm able to shift that narrative from being mourning in death and death is loss, to death is liberation from the physical form into an energetic state. Who knows what happens after death? But that's okay, because I can live every day excited for the next day. grateful for the days that I have, inspired by pushing to be who I want to be in life, and build that confidence that no matter what happens in life, no matter what challenges happen, I will be, who I am. I'll be the authentic me. I won't sacrifice my values and my standards because I'm afraid of difficult. You know what I mean? I'll keep pushing through life, and I'll choose, instead of being pessimistic in life, I'm going to be optimistic. My life is worthwhile. You know what I mean? And you got to think that in your own life, in terms of, like, if everyone in your life says your life is pointless, you've got to be the one exception that says, my life is worthwhile. It doesn't matter what other people think of me. What I think of me is the most important aspect of who I am. Who I am is what I think of me. Do you understand? Does it make sense? So, like, for example, like, these are the practices and principles I use in my life. Like, for example, creating content on YouTube, my YouTube channel. If I get 1 view, I'm happy. I don't care if I get millions of views. It doesn't matter. But if I get a small incremental gain, if I get small results, even if I'm the only one watching my channel, it doesn't matter. It's okay. Like, I feel good about myself when I'm doing and living the life that I want to live. When I'm moving forward, when I'm being who I want to be in life, I feel immensely grateful and glad about who I am. I feel excited about my future. So think about in your life, how can you become excited about your future? How can you build yourself up in your own eyes? How can you become that version of you who you've always dreamed of? It's just one step at a time. If we're going to walk 20 kilometers, it's just one step after another. It's not about running 20 kilometers in 10 minutes. One step after another. We just keep going consistently. We keep progressing, and we keep becoming incrementally better day in and day out. And at a certain point in time, we will look back and realize, I am who I've always dreamed of being. I can do anything I want in life. I will achieve everything that I set my mind to. Because I know with certainty, no matter the circumstance, no matter the obstacle, no matter the challenge in front of me, I will progress forward. Even if it takes me 1,000 attempts like Thomas Edison, I will get back up every time I fail, and I will just keep moving forward. Every failure brings me closer to my success. Every failure builds that character within me. That character within me that I dream of is only ever built through persevering through my perceived struggles and challenges throughout my life, and being willing to get back up, dust myself off, and just keep moving forward. I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope you understand what I mean. That building self-confidence within yourself is just about becoming certain that who you are is someone you should be confident about. That who you are is someone who, you can be inspired by in life. In my life, I inspire myself by being willing to do what I want to do in life. Just like if you live your life doing what you want to do in life, I promise you, you will start to inspire yourself. Even if no one else sees it. If you see it, That is all that matters. Alright, I hope you have an amazing day. Thanks so much. Bye.